I grew up on a small farm in Missouri, about 100 miles north of Kansas City, just south of the Iowa line a little bit. Well, I heard Benny Goodman on the radio from a radio station in Ames, Iowa, and I found out that there was a jazz program on the air. This was back in 1939, called Rhythm Rambles. It was from 12 until 12:30, and I just accidentally got tuned into it one day when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I guess. And I got to the point where I would, I'd get out of school for lunch at about 12 o'clock or 5 minutes till, and then I would run all the way home and catch the radio show from 12 until 12:30 while I was kind of scuttling down lunch. And that was my first real encounter with this music I've come to love. I fell in love with clarinet at that time because back in those days, of course, clarinet was the hot instrument. And I started playing clarinet just on my own. There was no one to take lessons from. I think the nearest teacher was in Kansas City, which was about almost 100 miles away. The Army caught up with me in 1951. I spent 3 years in an Army band, escaping the infantry by that much. And I count myself as being quite lucky during the Korean War. In the spring of 1958, I had applied for a job with a TV station in Clovis, New Mexico. And we decided during spring break that, why not? We've got about a week. We'll just drive down and take a look at the place. So we drove down, took a look at Clovis, and said, well, let's go on over to Albuquerque. So we drove over to Albuquerque, and when I say we, my wife and I, Joe and I, talked to the general manager of KNME TV. They had just gone on the air about 6 weeks before that time. And so I applied for a job as a director, producer, and then we drove back to Ames, Iowa to finish out this quarter, thinking, never thinking again that I would ever hear from them. It was just a kind of a routine application. And lo and behold, 6 weeks later, we got this letter saying, hey, we've got a job as producer-director at the station. Would you like the job? And then in 1965, I decided, well, I think I'd like to try teaching. So I opened a very small studio in Albuquerque in January of 1965. And I've been teaching ever since. I met so many fine musicians I've had the opportunity to work with, and I've worked in quite a few different groups in both Albuquerque and Santa Fe in these past 15, 16, maybe 20 years. I'm honored that sometimes they call and want me to play. It's a pleasure to work with these people because they are so good.